Why, hello! It's me, Gordon the Werewolf, back again with another episode. And, of course, you know by now, if you've seen this show before, the triple helping we have review, mythos, and facts on a werewolf movie. And this month, we're going into An American Werewolf in Paris. Ha! Stay tuned for it. Let's go with the review first. Okay, so An American Werewolf in Paris. So this was directed by Anthony Wall, starring Tom Everett Scott, Julia Delpy, Vince Valoff, Phil Buckman, Julie Bowen, Perry Casso, Tom November, and Thierry Limited or something. So this is a sort of follow-on, sort of sequel to An American Werewolf in London, and it is based on the work by John Landis. So, in this, we see three American guys, Andy and two of his friends, go to Paris, a guy's trip. And they also want to do an attempt where they do a bungee jump on the Eiffel Tower till Andy sees a young woman trying to commit suicide and saves her, Sophie. And of course, he then wants to know her better, but she has a secret that eventually finds its way out, and it turns out that she is a werewolf. Not only that, she is the daughter or offspring of David from the previous movie, An American Werewolf in London. Not only that, there is a pack of werewolves in Paris that hunt Americans in the catacombs and slaughter them. Andy encounters one of these wolves and is then turned into one, and he must find a way to, his friend tells him there is a way he can lift the curse, to find the wolf that bit him and eat out its heart. And, of course, romance and love story forms between Andy and Sophie, and it's kind of a happy ending. A lot more happier than the previous movie. So what did I like about this? Well, I liked that they did it again in another city, a capital city, Paris, instead of London this time. Not only that, I also enjoyed the humor and the comedy in this. I like that there was more than one werewolf, and we got to see, An American Werewolf in Paris, and there were other werewolves in this. They somewhat resembled the werewolf from the previous movie, but of course, it was the 90s. They had computers by then. They could do CGI and digital effects, which they did do in this movie with the werewolves. I mean, it was okay when it came out, but, it was the 90s. The technology was probably groundbreaking then, but looking at it now, it hasn't particularly aged well. And, I liked the story. I liked how it leads. I liked that, we got to see werewolves exploring in the French catacombs in Paris. And that we got to see antagonists this time, which were a whole pack. They also didn't require the full moon this time. They developed a serum where they inject it into their arms and they turn at will, which I did also kind of like. Of course, I'm in wolf form because, I spent 18 months with gypsy witches. They helped me put the brains and the beast together. Now look at me. Best of both worlds. I get to be in the driver's seat and the wolf gets to be out all the time. So, what did I not like? Well, like I said, the effects on the werewolves haven't really aged well. You can tell they're CGI, but I do like the look of the werewolves. I mean, we do at one point see one of them walking up on two legs. But of course, they do keep to the almost mythology of the werewolf from London. But yeah, I did enjoy this one. It's an enjoyable sequel, and I recommend it if you love werewolf movies. But do be warned, there are poor effects that haven't aged well. But hey, it's the 90s, 1997. I guess they were trying different computer effects. So, what am I gonna rate this movie? Yeah, you know what? I'll give it a 3.5 full moons out of 5. 3.5 full moons out of 5 for an American Werewolf in Paris. So, let's get to the next part of our show. Let's go with the mythology first, the mythos. The mythology in this one follows pretty much similarly to the predecessor, where the werewolf is active on the light of the full moon and still walks on all fours, but can also walk on two limbs as well. Of course, these werewolves are more muscular and more bigger as well, and are all CGI'd, with the visual effects being available in 1997. But these werewolves also can transform without the full moon by injecting a serum into them, which turns them without the power of the full moon, but can only last for so long before they revert back to their human state. Also, there is a way to undo the curse that has been put on you by finding the wolf that cursed you and eating out its heart. Also, when a werewolf is killed, their victims that are ghosts are then put to rest. Julie Delpy only made the movie so that she could pay for her rent. The church at the end is called Saint de Loup. Loup in French translates as wolf. In a scene that was deleted from the movie, it was discovered that the Werewolf Society had been around for centuries, and the werewolf that attacked David Kessler and Jack Goodman in An American Werewolf in London was once a member. Despite the poor reviews, the film gained a strong cult following over the years. The movie An American Werewolf in Paris was in development for 6 years, production going all the way back to 1991, 10 years after An American Werewolf in London was made. Tom Everett Scott did all his stunts in the movie. John Landis was the original choice to direct the sequel. Speaking of John Landis, he wrote one of the many screenplays that were considered for this movie. During days off from filming, Phil Buckman would go off to explore Luxembourg, where 90% of the movie was shot. The movie is a sequel to An American Werewolf in London from 1981 that was released 16 years after the original movie. And there you have it. This month's episode in a nutshell. So, have you seen An American Werewolf in Paris? Did you learn anything you didn't know about it? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel if you haven't already. All of our social media links are down below, our Facebook group, our Twitter, Instagram. You can check it all out. So, like I said, I've been your host, Gorn the Werewolf. This has been That Time of the Month show, and I will see you next full moon. So until then, don't have nightmares. All right then, I'll be seeing you.